As you can tell, we are here with my manual GR Supra, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to drive it. With modern technology, it does make knowing how to drive a manual vehicle kind of obsolete, but I think manual vehicles are a little bit more driver oriented. I mean, sure, automatic vehicles do have a lot going for them. They're more efficient, they're faster, they're better daily drivers, they're much more reliable. There's a lot going for automatic vehicles, but you don't feel one with the car, at least in my opinion. And that's one reason why I really like driving manual vehicles. So without any further ado, let's show you what I'm on about, I guess. What I mean whenever I say that you feel more one with a vehicle is you are in full control of telling the car where to go. You tell it to go forwards, you tell it to go backwards. And yes, you do that with an automatic, but there is a brain, there's a system that's doing it for you, versus on the manual, you're the brain, you're the system, you're the one that's telling it, hey, we're gonna go into first gear and we're gonna go forwards. So let me show you exactly how that works. Right here in the center, you're gonna have your gear shifter. And what I recommend doing is getting familiar with the gears. So if you go all the way over and push again, you're gonna have reverse. If you go all the way over and up, that's first. Over and down is second. Then you have the middle, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Some gear shifters will not have this on there. That's perfectly fine. Just get familiar with your gears. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you've got your gear placements figured out, you need to go ahead and learn how to start the vehicle, which the car goes in neutral. You push the clutch down, and then you can start the car. That simple. Let's say you accidentally left this in gear. It was in first gear. You had your foot on the clutch and you started the car. It will still start, but if you decide to let off the clutch, the car will want to pull forwards, and if you let off completely, the car will stall. Now that the vehicle is on, we can actually show you how to put it in first gear and start moving, but you also have an emergency brake or a parking brake. Make sure that you release that or you put your handbrake down so you can actually put the car into gear and move away. You can still, yes, put it into gear and try to pull forwards, but as you can see, parking brake is still active, which is not gonna let you do anything besides get stuck. In this car, it will say parking brake engaged, release it. Now that your parking brake is released, you can go ahead and put your car in first gear and try to pull away. What I recommend doing is putting your clutch to the floor, put it in first gear, slowly let off the clutch until the car starts to pull, and then give it a little bit of gas. And this is how much gas I'm giving it, just barely enough to keep the car going forwards. You don't want to sit there and rev it to the moon like that. You don't do that. It's just a very light touch of the throttle. So as the car pulls forward, little gas, it's gonna do everything else for you. To give you an idea of what this looks like on the outside, foot to the floor, first gear, slowly let off the clutch. As you can see, the car starts to pull forwards. Now, if I don't get enough gas, the car will stall. So you wanna make sure that you do very little movement on your gas just to keep the car going forwards. Again, you're not looking at trying to rev this out, and you're not looking at putting no power to the gas. It's just barely touching it, so it's giving it enough throttle. Once you get moving, you'll apply more throttle and then fully let off the clutch to start cruising. By the way, when you're doing this and you feel like you're about to stall, just press in the clutch and start again. Pushing in the clutch basically puts the car in neutral, so you don't have to worry about the car lunging forwards or stalling on you. Hypothetically speaking, your first gear is going to be your most difficult gear. It's the hardest one to get out of. It's the one that people struggle with the most. But again, just take it really easy. Learn where your clutch starts to grab. It's super easy by just going clutch, let off. Oh, it's starting to grab right there. Oh, it's starting to grab right there. So now, all I have to do is just a little bit of throttle at the same time. And again, you're not trying to sit there and rev it out or anything. You're just barely touching the gas, about a grand, if not a little bit more, if not a little bit less, and that will pull the car forwards. Same process for reversed. You put it all the way, clutch in, all the way over into reverse, let off on the clutch slowly, and then the car starts to move in reverse. Now that you've learned how to put your car into first gear and move forwards without stalling, now we can go ahead and practice just driving through and shifting gears. To shift gears while driving, you need to push in the clutch, let off the throttle, and then you can change gears. Once you're in that gear, you can slowly let off the clutch and get back on throttle, just like you did when you put the car in first gear. If you let off too quickly, the car may jerk, and if you keep the clutch held in for too long while applying throttle, you can burn up the clutch. downshift roughly about 2.5 to 3,000 RPMs whenever I'm just daily driving or cruising. That seems to work best for me. It's more fuel efficient, it's about what an automatic would shift, and it just cruises nicely without any jerkiness. Now to come to a stop, there's a few ways you can do this. The safest and easiest way, in my opinion, is to put the car in neutral, then apply the brakes to come to a complete stop or just to slow down. A rough estimate in each gear is about 10 miles per hour for downshifting. For example, if you're slowing down to 30 miles per hour, you can safely downshift into third gear. Or if you were slowing down to about 15 to 20 miles per hour, you can put it into second gear. I don't recommend going into first gear unless you are going slower than 10 miles per hour or have made a complete stop. Once you get used to slowing down in neutral, then changing gears, you can work on downshifting while driving to slow the car down. This is basically letting the engine do the braking power for you. Same 10 mile per hour rule applies for this. And that's essentially all you need to know to learn how to drive a manual vehicle. Practice makes perfect, so if you do this over and over again, it's going to get a lot easier. Your first few tries, they are going to be more difficult, they're going to be more challenging, especially first gear and reverse. But again, just practice those, try not to stall the car, and if you feel like you're going to, press in the clutch and it will restart the process. Best of luck, hopefully you can learn if you don't already know how. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed watching today's video and like seeing my super content. That's going to be it for today's video, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Stay awesome. Later.
If I only knew how to make it true, we could write a new ending for you. You can pick and choose. All you gotta do is play the whole thing through. And if I only knew how to make it true, we could write a new ending for you.
Oh, that was easy. Wow.